It's all over. Suicide.
Suicide? What about a motive? Where was the motive?
They didn't seem to think one was necessary. Oh, God, I'm so tired. I can't see, I can't hear, I can't feel anything.
Is Frank with you?
No, he's gone to see the vicar.
Why the vicar?
Something has to happen this evening, now that the inquest is over.
Rebecca.
6:30, it's all arranged.
I'll come with you.
No. Frank will be there. And Colonel Julian.
Colonel Julian?
He's the local magistrate from Kerrith. Thank you. You met him at the ball.
Well, why is he going?
No particular reason. I've asked them to dine with us this evening. I hope you don't mind. Oh. He's been very decent, Colonel Julian. Pulled all kinds of strings. Made everything very much easier.
Let me come too.
No, my darling. I'd rather you didn't.
Excuse me, madam, do you know if Mr. De Winter will be long?
No, Frith, not very long.
There's a gentleman to see him, madam. I'm not quite sure what I ought to say. He's so very insistent about seeing Mr. De Winter.
Well, who is it? Anyone you know?
It's Mr. Favell, madam.
I see. I think perhaps I'd better see him.
Very good, madam. Mr. Favell, madam.
I'm afraid Maxim isn't here.
So I see. Oh.
Wouldn't it be better if you made an appointment to see him at the office in the morning?
Oh, I don't mind waiting. How are you feeling? Too bad you fainting like that at the inquest this afternoon. Must have been the heat.
Mr. Favell, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm very tired. It's been an exhausting day. Why don't you see Maxim in the morning?
Yes, I've had an exhausting day, too. Exhausting, upsetting, and extremely unpleasant. Rebecca was my cousin, you know. I was damn fond of her.
Yes, I'm sorry.
We were brought up together. Always tremendous pals. Liked the same things, the same people. Laughed at the same jokes. I suppose I was fonder of Rebecca than anyone else in the world. And she was fond of me. All this has been a bloody shock.
Yes, I'm sure it has.
Max knows how I felt about Rebecca. He won't be surprised to find me here.
What do you mean?
Suicide. Do you call that justice? That doddering old fool of a coroner didn't know what he was talking about, did he? But we know. Don't we? We know it wasn't suicide, don't we?
I think you better leave, Mr. Favell.
Now, don't come the high and mighty with me. I've come here to do you a favor. A big favor. For both of you.
What sort of a favor?
That's better. I thought you'd be interested. You know, I could make things damned unpleasant for Max if I tried. If I wanted to. You too come to that. Do you know what this is? It's a letter from Rebecca. Last thing she wrote before she died. Would you like to read it? Well, go on. I think you might find it interesting. Yeah. I was right, wasn't I? Don't you think that's interesting?
What do you want?
Ah, well, that's what I came to see old Max about. Now, the last thing I want in the world is trouble. You must believe that. Let's keep it all in the family. That's my motto. And we are all part of the same family, you know. You, me, Max, Rebecca. All part of the same big, happy family. Max is what you might call the head of the family, and I'm the poor relation, not a role I enjoy very much, to tell you the truth. In fact, to speak quite bluntly, Mrs. De Winter, I'm most unhappy about it. I mean, here's old Max with all his money, his house, social position, pretty young wife. And here am I with, well, shall we say, considerably less. I'm not a greedy man. I don't want you to think that. But with a settlement of 2,000 or 3,000 a year, I could jog along quite comfortably.
Leave this house.
Maxim,
What
no.
the hell are you doing
He's
here?
got a letter.
Get out.
Maxim,
I should
please.
listen to her if I were you, old man.
It's important.
What letter?
Well, show him the letter. It's the last one she wrote. Rebecca.
So now it's blackmail.
I wouldn't call it that.
What would you call it?
Well, think of your wife, old man. Do you want her to spend the rest of her life as the widow of a murderer?
I think you should show this to Colonel Julian. He's the local magistrate. I'm sure he'd be interested.
Maxim, please.
Good bluff, but it won't work.
No, it's no bluff. Colonel Julian's here now. He and Frank Crawley are dining with us. Had you forgotten?
Fair enough, old man. If you want to hang yourself, it's all the same to me.
In here, Colonel Julian. There's someone I'd like you to meet.
Good evening, Mrs. De Winter. Feeling better, I hope?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Frank.
Good evening.
This is Jack Favell, my late wife's cousin. I don't know whether you've met.
Yes, your face seems familiar. I probably met you here in the old days.
Quite probably.
Mr. Favell thinks there's been a miscarriage of justice.
Oh, in what respect?
I'm not satisfied with the verdict given at the inquest this afternoon.
Oh, isn't that for Mr. De Winter to say?
No, I don't think so. Rebecca wasn't just my cousin. If she'd lived, we'd have been married.
Good God. I see. Oh, well. Is this true, De Winter?
It's the first I've heard of it.
He knew we were lovers.
Yes, I knew that.
I see. All right, Favell, what exactly is your trouble?
This letter was written a few hours before Rebecca died. Read it. See if you think the woman who wrote that letter had made up her mind to kill herself.